Man, I wish I could do this entire video in like Colleen's power stance. She just owned that Apple stage. Apple has gone full Mac mode. In today's event, they released the new Mac Studio, basically a Mac Mini on steroids, where you can choose in between Apple's M1 Max chip or their newly announced M1 Ultra, which is quite literally two M1 Maxes fused together. And because of this, it's not gonna be hard for developers to add support for this new Ultra chip. And wait, what is that? Is that an SD card slot on the front of this Mac Studio? Times have changed, my friends, times have changed. Also, there is the new Studio display. So this is Apple's new 27-inch 5K Retina display. Let's have an official moment of silence for the LG Ultrafine 5K. Yeah, get out of here. Literally no one wants you anymore. Okay, so what's up everyone? Hi, my name is Sara Dietschy, rhymes with Peachy. Welcome to another video. Before we get into the Mac stuff, because that's the juicy stuff, I want to get into the other stuff. I'm so eloquent with words. Apple previewed their upcoming movie lineup, and is it just me or is Ryan Reynolds literally everywhere? The iPhone 13 Pro now comes in Alpine Green, and iPhone 13 now comes in green. Not Alpine Green, just green. So there's two different greens. And also there's a new iPhone SE on the block. Well, I mean, it doesn't look new, but on the inside, they've added the A15 Bionic chip. That's the same chip that's in the flagship iPhone 13. So that means you'll be enjoying a lot of the same features like 5G, better battery life, and most of the new features from iOS 15, like converting live text from photos. So if you don't need the advanced camera system of the iPhone 13 or Face ID, well, the new iPhone SE starts at $429. Also, there's a new iPad. We love iPads over here. Woo, a new iPad Air with the M1 chip. Apple is just serving the M1s everywhere. You get an M1, you get an M1. We are officially saying goodbye to the A series iPhone chips and iPads. I swear, if we get all of the same chips and all of these devices and the iPad still doesn't run pro apps like Final Cut or Logic, I don't know what I can do, but I will complain on Twitter a lot. That's usually what I do. But having this M1 means an 8-core GPU, a 16-core neural engine, which just means, well, fast. Vroom vroom, guys, okay? Graphics are twice as fast in comparison to the last Air, and doing things like automatically masking the sky in Adobe Lightroom or gaming on the go, it's a breeze, it's fast. It's classic iPad. Basically, all of the hardware just keeps getting faster, but the software is still just kind of like average. So this means the iPad Air now has the same chip as the iPad Pros. So really outside of the camera system, the display, and a few random things like starting storage options, there's not a ton of differences. I'll dive into these in a later video, so if you have any questions about the above products that we just mentioned, please leave a comment down below, because more videos to come in the next few days, okay? If you can tell, I'm kind of hurrying through these things to talk about Mac. Mac. We saw some new people presenting at this event. A favorite, Craig, was absolutely nowhere to be found. I hope he didn't fall into one of those holes, you know. But Colleen, she freaking crushed it. We referenced her earlier in this video. And the set, this was like the coolest set that they had. It was basically a city background, but then they had basically a house cut in half, which they have often, but then they had many different sets within that. I was just like, one day, can I make something as amazing as that? Probably not, but you know. Okay, so this Mac Studio, it literally looks like two Mac Minis just stacked on top of each other. The port situation, guys, is amazing. It truly feels like a new Apple, and there's even more on the back side. The back features 4 Thunderbolt 4 USB-C ports, 2 USB Type-A ports, an HDMI, 10 gig Ethernet, and a Pro Audio headphone jack. On the front, we've already mentioned that, SD card slot. The I/O on the front is actually different. So if you get the M1 Ultra, the 2 USB-Cs on the front are Thunderbolt 4. And if you get the M1 Max, it features 2 normal USB-C ports on the front. So those are capable of 10 gigabit per second speeds opposed to the 40 with Thunderbolt. But that's still a crazy amount of I/O and also cooling in a very small form factor. Those ports also enable you to connect up to 4 XDR displays plus a 4K TV. If you need that many displays, Who are you, where are you, and can I visit? You can have up to 64 gigs of memory on the M1 Max and up to 128 gigs on the M1 Ultra, and each can have up to 8 terabytes of SSD storage. The M1 Max config with its 10-core CPU starts at $1,999, and the M1 Ultra with its 20-core CPU, remember it's essentially like two M1 Maxes fuses together, that starts at $3,999. So my first impression is, okay, this M1 Ultra Mac Studio, it's kind of a mouthful, right? It has the potential to be actually insane. They had a ton of talking heads from Adobe After Effects, Cinema 4D, all of these, crazy visual effects and video editing software people, basically just saying, yeah, this is major, pay attention, guys. I did order an M1 Ultra Mac Studio. Okay, the more I say that, the more I'm just like, I did order one of those. Make sure to like and subscribe. We will be reviewing that on this channel. But this makes me think of the poor Mac Pro line. I feel like both the trash can and the latest Pro is kind of pointless at this point. I mean, is that pointless? If you watch my MacBook Pro video with a musician's perspective, you'll remember that a ton of audio plugins and software is still not 100% for Apple Silicon. So really, it seems like the Mac Pro will now just be the option for the increasingly niche subset of people who need Intel Macs. Not Apple Silicon, Intel Macs. So people who are heavy in Pro Tools or other adjacent software who literally only update their computers like once a decade, I guess the Mac Pro is for you. But everyone else, I feel like, is just gonna run to this Mac Studio or the MacBook Pro. Video, photo, visual effects programs have adapted like really quickly. Adobe Premiere, it had a rough start, but it is fast. It is very good. It's very good on Apple Silicon now. It's gotten to a point where the M1 Ultra Max Studio is just probably the perfect option for those pro users who don't want to get a PC tower and obviously also don't game. Something they didn't release is a 27-inch iMac Pro with the M1 Ultra. I know a lot of people, really wanted that. It seems like for nows, the pros don't get iMacs. iMacs are not for you. The example that comes to mind is Marquez, who literally used to travel with an iMac Pro for just on-the-go video editing with his crazy 8K footage. So for now, I guess that option is either you go with an M1 Max MacBook Pro with the beautiful 16-inch display. I think that'll suffice for a lot of people. Or I guess you travel with an M1 Ultra Mac Studio plus the new Studio display. So let's talk about this display. And talking about pros not getting things, yeah, you don't get colors in any of this. They don't want you to have a space gray option. Me personally, I believe silver is the superior option. So the fact that the Mac Studio only comes in that, and also the display is fine. It's fine with me. Now that we're talking about the display, it would have been cool to see it in all of the iMac colors, that would have been pretty, but no, you're pros. Pros only get silver. Okay, the Studio display. We've been waiting for this. Very few people want to pay the $6,000 for Apple's Pro XDR display. Seriously, if you bought one of those, how are you doing? And honestly, people were sick of buying this thick bezeled several-year-old LG ultrafine display. This was really the go-to option for a long time. So here we go. Enter the Studio display. It starts at $15.99 and goes up to $18.99 for their nano texture glass. So this provides a more matte finish to combat, super bright lights if needed. The fancy tilt and height adjustable stand adds an additional $400. We did get that, so smash that subscribe button. This enables you to turn the display vertically if needed. Honestly, when they mentioned other stand options, I got scared. I was like, I swear, if they add a $1,000 stand like they did with the Pro XDR, Twitter would just have a field day. But good news, the standard option, the $15.99, does come with just a standard tilting stand. And I think the biggest surprise is this monitor actually comes with an A13 chip inside. So this allows for center stage on the 12 megapixel ultra-wide camera, a first on a Mac, a 3 mic array, and high fidelity speakers with spatial audio support. In a world where chips are running very low, this is a huge flex, I might say, Apple. Touche. The display has 3 USB-C ports, 10 gigabits per second, and 1 Thunderbolt port that can deliver 96 watts of power, so you can charge your MacBook with that same USB-C cable that is delivering video to the Studio display. If you have a MacBook Pro, you're able to connect up to 3 Studio displays to your MacBook. Again, who are you and can I come visit if you just have that? Should we do that? Just surrounded by 3? Honestly, guys, I'm not even probably gonna keep this display. I've been just a big fan of those like LG ultra-wide monitors that you can get on Amazon for under $1,000. They're color accurate enough. I know I make videos for a living, but like, I don't know, $15.99 for this sucker? I mean, also my main machine is a PC, so what am I even saying? This is probably gonna be the biggest disappointment, is it does not have ProMotion, which means it doesn't have the ability to go up to 120 Hertz, just 60 Hertz. Now, again, you're not gonna be gaming using this display on your Mac, right? But we have ProMotion on so many different Apple devices that I think a lot of people were crossing their fingers. Maybe we have another one that comes out in the future, maybe bigger than 27 inches that has this. They always gotta leave something, you know, something left to do, I guess. So yeah, I'm curious about y'all's opinion, because I watched this event like very excitedly. I don't know if that's a word, but I love seeing innovation with the Mac because I've been one of its biggest critics in between like 2016 and 2019. So now that we got Apple Silicon, we got all of these different options for displays now, and we got the Ultra, woo, so exciting. But in terms of this display, I do video work for a living, and still I'm like, this seems a little too expensive for me. I don't know. I don't know if I've just got caught up so much in this like ultra wide thing. I love having two displays, having one ultra wide, one, you know, 27-inch off to the side. The Mac isn't at the center of my creative workflow, so that's probably niche to me. But even if this MacBook, I did everything on this, a $1,600 display, I actually don't know. Trying to think of something more poetic to say, but that's where I'm at now. Maybe it'll change because we are getting them in the studio, so we will review them. I'll let you know. But when it comes to the Mac Studio, I'm mostly excited for that M1 Ultra SKU. If it's the M1 Max and then you have to add that display on top of it, I'm kind of like, well, just get the 16-inch M1 Max MacBook. I don't know, that display is gorgeous. If you need a bigger one, you can always find one for like $500 or $700. Maybe we need to do an entire display video. I'll put that on the list for you guys. So yeah, they've also added some new accessories. You now have the new trackpad, keyboard, and magic mouse in black, so you have silver and black. But again, let me know what you think. This is just a quick little recap. We're gonna be reviewing most of the things, and hey, guess what? Are you an AirPods user? Do you want this awesome, fuzzy, beautiful case for your AirPods that remind you every day to, well, hey, stay peachy, and also that enable you to have your AirPods stand like they deserve? Well, hey, you can go to peachymerch.com or check out that shop moment link down in the description below to check it out. All right, signing off. Let me know if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button down below for new videos every single week. Did I post one last week? Hopefully every single week. Okay, bye guys. Stay peachy. I'm doing this again. I start this and I always regret it.